What's going on, everybody? It's Afro Think Tank. Vivek Ramaswamy thought he was going to go to Ohio and run for office. He thought them good white folks out there was going to support and vote for him. You see, he thought he was in the club. Huh? He thought he was in the club. Them good white folk, them good Christian evangelical racist ass white folks told him, "You not like us." He got embarrassed in his face. Them young racist whippersnappers had lots of questions for him. Like, "What you doing here, boy? What you doing around here, boy?" Basically, that's what they said. You see, I told you about them Indians. Listen, you untouchable, Vivek Ramaswamy. Just like the untouchables and the lower class in India, outside of India, you are untouchable. What part of that don't you get? Huh? What kind of delusion are you under? What kind of spell are you under? Huh? What did these white folks, what did a single white folk tell you and make you think that you was going to be part of the club? Them white folks told you you ain't like us. You not one of us. Hindu? You thought, you see, Vivek Ramaswamy tried to play that I'm a Christian Hindu. Huh? You think you like a Judeo-Christian? You think you're gonna be who Hindu Christian? You thought that shit was gonna work, didn't you, huh? Ain't enough smiles in the goddamn world, huh? You ain't enough goddamn grease you can put in your goddamn head. You can't straighten that shit out. Ain't that many white hairdos in the world that's gonna make you white. You can try to cut off your accent. You can try to do all that shit. Shit's not gonna work. You not white. You are a brown man. Okay? You are a brown man in this America, all right? Not America, this America. See, America is a continent. They don't know that in Ohio, all right? But this is America, capital M. Ohio? Listen, it's bad enough them goddamn Muslims taking over parts of Ohio, all right? It's bad enough the Qataris are coming to Idaho, and going to take over Idaho. They get a whole military base and shit. But listen, the last thing they want is a goddamn Indian. All right? You a second-class nigga. You know that, right? I hope you know that, to white people. You a second-class. You not even a whole nigga. You a second-class nigga. You a nigga with straight hair, as far as they concerned. I know they probably ain't told you that. They probably have told you in your face, too. You just feel like you didn't hear that shit, didn't you? You just ate your little cheese crackers and your celery with mayonnaise on it, and you just smiled because you figured you was gonna get power. You think they care that you a billionaire, a millionaire? Ain't you like a billionaire, millionaire, something? Because you take advantage of people in their healthcare and you overcharge for pills and medical procedures and shit. That's what you do, right? That's how you make your money, huh? Taking advantage of people in the medical industry. That's how you made your money. Look, your money don't mean shit to them good white folk down there, huh? Listen, Christianity is their excuse to be. They mean white. Jesus is white. God is white. Okay? Santa Claus is white. The world is white to them. That's the country of Ohio. All right? And you just got your secondary nigga wake-up call. And I'm here for it. Because you not like them. Anyway, you guys tell me what you think in the comment section. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
I say this as the proud son of legal immigrants to the United States. That means your first act of entering this country cannot break the law.
Over the past year, prior to his assassination, Charlie Kirk became increasingly against legal immigration. And I know over Christmas you had defended it on Twitter numerous times. I'm wondering if you've changed your view at all in talking to Charlie about this. I've worked myself in an immigration office for a number of years and have very much become against a lot of the legal immigration we see. So I'm curious if your views have changed on that.
I would say my views have been pretty consistent over time, and they're consistent with what I reflected in my speech, which let's start with where we need to begin. I think, based on your question, I assume we would find alignment here, but I hope we do. We have double-digit numbers of millions of people who entered the country illegally. And my view is if you entered the country illegally, it is perfectly just for you to be returned to your country of origin. We haven't done that. So
I agree.
Let's
do that first. Focus on that first. But
and that would constitute something where we have still 10 plus million numbers to go before we get to that question. Now, the separate question is, what should the legal immigration policy of the United States look like? Is the legal immigration policy of the United States right now serving the best interests of our country?
No.
I think the answer to that question is no. I agree with you. We need a legal immigration system that accomplishes one thing. Does it serve the interests of the United States citizens who are already here? Well, the goal of U.S. immigration policy is to serve the Americans who already reside here. Then we have a question of what a merit-based system looks like. Now, the White House took some steps recently to say that, you know what, people should have to pay more to be able to actually hire someone from another country. I think that's actually a reasonable approach. If somebody's asked to put their money where their mouth is, that's a reasonable approach for framing the question of how we think about legal immigration to the United States. But I think that is a tough question. We're going to have to roll up our sleeves and actually ask the question, what best advances the interests of the citizens who are already here? And a precondition for even having that debate is actually to have ended the illegal immigration crisis in this country that we can't just sweep under the rug to punt for this other complicated question ahead of us. That's where I land.
Jesus Christ is God, and there is no other God. And any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith?
Christian voices should be the main voice of America, and I want to know basically why you seem to be, and I don't mean to be horribly offensive, but why you seem to be masquerading as a Christian.
I don't call myself Christian. I call myself a Hindu. I'm not running to be pastor of Ohio. I'm running to be governor of Ohio, and I didn't run to be pastor of America. I ran to be president of the United States of America. Do you think it's inappropriate for someone who's a Hindu to be, say, a U.S. president?
No, I think it's... no, well...
You be honest.
Because you're an Indian.
Never thought that I would leave my faith. I never thought that I would leave my faith. We bonded over bigotry, but they weren't supposed to turn on me. No, I never thought that I would leave my faith. Now I never thought that I would leave my faith. Oh, I never thought that I would leave my faith. Bonded over bigotry, but they weren't supposed to turn on me. No, I never thought the birds would eat Visit shop.francesca.net to get your Leopards Ate My Face merch. Ahora en español.
Now, Vivek Ramaswamy, are you starting to get it now? You went to that Turning Point U.S.A. event. You took your brown ass there in front of all them white people to try to convince them that you are somehow going to be a good choice to be governor of Ohio. Ohio. The state that I come from, that super white ass state. And them white folk flamed you, and they told you what they really think about you. That white boy went and said, Jesus is God and Christianity is the only religion. If you pray to any other religion, you are praying to a demon. He said you and what you pray to was on demon time. And they sat there and criticized, why would a brown Hindu man be the governor of Ohio? White Christian interests should be upheld. They don't want to be told what to do by a brown man. That's what you don't seem to get yet. You will only ever invited into those spaces because you were Donald Trump's little whipping boy. And you got to go up there and parrot all of Donald Trump's talking points in a manner that was more concise because you can actually functionally read. And then once Trump got back into office, all of you pick-me's had outlived your usefulness. That's why they got rid of your ass at Doge, because you was a brown man in a white space trying to talk. And they didn't need your ass no more. So they kicked you to the curb. And you think that all of a sudden you got a shot in Ohio. And I need to be honest, when I think about these pick-me's, when I think about these emotional support coons, I have come to the conclusion that y'all actually have a humiliation fetish. You have a humiliation kink. Because you can actually go up there and parrot white supremacist talking points. When these same white supremacists are like, we voted for Donald Trump. We voted for a man who promised mass deportations. And when we talking about mass deportations, they're talking about your ass. They're talking about your parents' ass who immigrated here. But you still don't get it yet. because you actually think that you're one of the good ones. You're so steeped in your anti-blackness that you really think they'll ever have a seat for you, and they never will. And I know that while you like to get your rocks off while they're insulting you, that impacts other brown folk down the line.
Well, y'all remember Vivek Ramaswamy, right? MAGA supporter, glizzy rider of Donald Trump, former presidential candidate for the Republican Party, and presently running for the governorship of Ohio. Well, it seems like Vivek here got a dose of bigoted reality, courtesy of Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA. Yes, Vivek was at a Turning Point USA conference in Montana where he was speaking, and bigots let him know his place. Let's take a listen.
Hi, Vivek, you would profess to be a conservative, correct?
I'm a proud conservative.
If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is today, what are you conserving? You are bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you. Christianity is the one truth. Jesus Christ is God, and there is no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith?
It doesn't seem like the Turning Point USA crowd is taking too kindly to Vivek Ramaswamy's practice of Hinduism, a Hinduism that was taught to him by his immigrant parents, by the way. But I digress. And just in case you think that was a one-off, no. You didn't hear the applause in the background, right? Well, let me bring you another one. And you might need to reference your bigot idiot handbook for the next one, because intelligence and bigotry rarely operate in the same space. So take a listen to this next question.
A personal question. It's allowed. So based on what the press says about your beliefs, you call yourself a Hindu, but you also call yourself a Christian.
I don't call myself Christian. I call myself a Hindu.
Okay. So based on what the Turning Point's values are, which is Christianity, I'm a little confused on why you believe in I don't know. Wouldn't it be logical
Get it
to
out,
conclude
man.
that a monotheistic organization would be more, I don't know, I guess I just don't understand why.
It seems like it's going to take him a while to get to his point. Hold on. All right, let's get back to it.
Logical to conclude that a monotheistic organization would be more, I don't know, I guess I just don't understand why I guess a polytheistic ideology would support some sort of, I guess, monotheistic perspective which Christianity is. So I guess I'm wondering why you have Christian values in that way.
Sure.
Whew. That wasn't all of it, but you get the gist of what was being said and implied, right? Yeah, right. So, Vivek, how does it feel? Oh, them conservative white boys are leaving you, aren't they? Yeah. So, I'm going to reach out and ask Charlie Kirk, by using my Ouija board here, is this his Turning Point USA? Yeah. Vivek, you want to borrow it? You can't make this up. Y'all have the day you deserve. And may the ancestors judge you accordingly to your work.
The extreme elements of any party will not accept all members, even if they believe in their ideology. Because sometimes you can't just be part of the way in. You got to be all the way in. You got to not only believe what they believe, but you got to look the right way. You got to dress the right way. You got to be perfect for you to be in the club. And Vivek Ramaswamy is finding that out. Check this out. The Ohio gubernatorial candidate was in was at a Turning Point USA event in Montana, running for office in Ohio, but he was in Montana. And he was speaking at Montana State University, and he was getting some disturbing questions. Let me just share some of the stuff that people said. He says, one person said, a male student, Jesus Christ is God and there's no other God. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith? If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is. What are you conserving? You're bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you. Christianity is the one truth. And then a female student said that Ramaswamy was masquerading as a Christian. And he responded, he says, I'm an ethical monotheist. That's the way I would describe my faith. He asked, do you think it's appropriate for someone who's a Hindu to be president of the United States? And this was her response. No. But isn't Charlie Kirk's organization founded on Christian values as well? And isn't America based on what Protestantism is and based on how those values are? Wouldn't that contradict what your beliefs are? You see, the point I've been trying to make for a long time, for many years, especially to black and brown people who are conservatives, legitimately conservatives, believe in conservative principles, whether it be political ideology or financial conservatism, they believe in it. But for the extremes in the MAGA movement, they still don't get into the club because they don't look the right way and they don't pray the right way. Just believing in MAGA principles, political principles, is not enough. So for those of you out there that believe that you're going to be accepted, for a lot of them, you're not going to be accepted. You're never going to get in that club. When you show up with your membership card, it's going to be stamped. He's kind of in, but he ain't all the way in. That's just the way it is. And these are young people. This is the future of organizations like Turning Point USA, obviously, a lot of young folks, and maybe the future of MAGA. So Vivek Ramaswamy is finding out the hard way. Because just because you believe what they believe, it doesn't get you in the club. Your skin's still too brown. Your faith may not stack up to what they believe is the only faith, like the guy said, the only God. You may not look the right way, you may not pray the right way, therefore they'll never let you in. Just when you thought you were there, they'll remind you you're not even close.
Jesus Christ is God, and there is no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith? If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is today, what are you conserving? You are bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you. Christianity.
First and foremost, I want to say good for Vivek here. He was able to experience the politics of white supremacy that he adopted and assimilated into, only to get chewed up and spit out. As a former white Christian nationalist, I am speaking from experience, not something I watched in a movie or read in a book. This is a real life experience. To all black and brown people, white Christian conservatives, especially MAGA, will only like you or promote you if you know your place. Look at Candace Owens. She was a MAGA darling, a star, until she got out of line. When she decided to dance to the beat of her own drum set, this is what they had to say about her. But the truth is, black and brown people already know this about white Christian nationalists. So to white people, recognize this truth and change. You notice how the kid in the video said that 64% of Ohio is Christian? How can you represent us as being Hindu? What he really wanted to say was 76% of Ohio is white. How can you represent us being a brown man? But as they say, there's no hate like Christian love. It's easier to masquerade their racism and their xenophobia under the guise of their Christian faith. The vast majority of them spewing this ignorance don't even know what Hinduism is. Hell, the vast majority of them have never read their Bible. But I love it when they say that this country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles. Our founding fathers, the signers of the Declaration of Independence, were all Protestant Christians. You know what else they were? Slave owners, at least half of them, and for the other half, it wasn't a deal breaker. Much like MAGA Republicans today, half of them are openly and explicitly racist, and the other half, it's not a deal breaker for them. But honestly, I'm really glad that Vivek got to experience this running for governor of Ohio. He got to see that people in MAGA will not like you based on your religion, your skin color, your sexual orientation, and your sexual preference. No matter how much you do your little dance, Vivek, white racist people will not pick you.
There's one thing I want to say about what happened to Vivek Ramaswamy at that Turning Point USA. You know, I don't feel bad for you. Not even a little bit. I'm actually laughing my ass. You hateful fuck. And honestly, welcome to being alive as a South Asian woman. Welcome to our... You got treated how you men treat us. All you South Asian men who try to be pick me and then get treated so bad, welcome to the world of being a South Asian woman. In India, because I can guarantee you, we get treated so bad in India. You know how one Indian said, like, the lowest white person will still get more praise than the smartest Indian? I think the same thing for the Indian community, men and women. The lowest Indian male and the most educated Indian woman, they'll still side with the male. Yeah, welcome to our life. Plus, get a shade that matches you, man.
What up, black folks? If you didn't know, now you know. Shout out to Biggie. But I'm talking about Vivek Ramaswamy. Yeah. If you thought you could ever be white, them white kids at that organization where, you know, I've fallen and I can't get up, co-founded, yeah, them white kids showed you, or pretty much told you, you could never be one of us, Vivek. And your dumb ass should have known that, you know. I'm glad you monkey motherfuckers are learning who these people are. These people who call themselves Christians. You know, those little devils you was debating with at Turning Point. Yeah, I hope you see that. You know, but you're gonna learn. You know, just like that dumb motherfucker down there in Florida, the black guy, Barron McDonald, Ronald McDonald Barron, black, he gonna find out too. You could never be one of them, white. And they're telling it to you, to your fucking face. So I love that for you. So yeah, the truth shall be known. Peace.
How can you say you're a Christian when you don't follow Christian values? You say you're a Hindu, you say you're a Christian.
How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith?
Christian voices should be the main voice of America. Why you seem to be masquerading as a Christian?
You call yourself a Hindu, but you also call yourself Christian. I don't call myself Christian.
And it's young kids too, with this Christian. Vivek Ramaswamy, boy oh boy, he keeps trying, doesn't he? He's pretty wealthy guy, yeah. $900-something million worth, yeah. And, you know, he, of course, they question him on how he got that, but, you know, most people that got a lot of money, everybody did something grimy. But he worked so hard to get the approval of some of these so-called Christians. And this video is they're just barraging him with questions like, I think Christian, to me, it's all this Christian is basically white supremacist bullshit. That's how I feel. It's a cold word. It's just like when someone says, I'm from a small town, means there's no black people there. You understand where I'm coming from? Conservative means you're kind of racist, but not really. You can get racist depending on what the situation is. That's just how I feel about certain things. And there are other whites that agree with me. So I don't want anybody to get mad at this. And plus, I'm a comedian, so if you don't like what I say, get the off of comedians' accounts. How about that? Anyway, so Vivek Ramaswamy, he ran for president, vice president. He tried to do some shit on Trump's cabinet, didn't work. Like, yo, man, basically they're trying to say is we don't want no Indian dude running our shit. Okay, we are tired of you guys beating us in the spelling bee. We can't even win a spelling bee. A white kid can't win a spelling bee without some Indian dude crushing their ass. I know you're trying, but they just can't get past. So they use this word Christian bullshit. You're Hindu. What's wrong with being Hindu? They go Christian. This is the same people that talk about this Christian shit that, you know, where the Klan would burn crosses on black people's lawns back in the day. And they would say in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. When Jesus shows up, you guys are going to be pissed. You guys are going to probably burn a cross on Jesus's lawn when you see what he looks like when he shows up. So this whole Christian shit is a bunch of bullshit. And you're not even the first Christians, white folks. We can go back to Ethiopia and talk about all of that. You know, and if you want to debate me in this religious bullshit, you can go do that. I'm sure you'll say it in the comments and give me a whole paragraph of that's not true. I don't give a fuck. All right. But Vivek, the point is, Vivek, they don't want your Indian ass to be running shit. Do you understand that? Okay. And Ann Coulter even said it. You're brown. I'm not fucking with you because you're brown. So after this town meeting, I'm sure all of those white Christian conservatives are going to go to yoga class after, which is Indian created, and they're going to eat some Indian food off at some chicken tikka masala, some lamb korma, some saag paneer, mata paneer, some samosa. You know they're going to do that because that's exactly what they want you for, Vivek. They want you to let them know where the best Indian food is because that's what they love to do. I'm sorry, it is what it is.
Free Sudan, boycott diamonds and gold. Free Sudan, boycott diamonds and gold. We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.